I was going to ask you, did you know or hear about the cadets or the INT Ranch cadets, or did you know about children? Did you know about the Clearwater kids, the cadets in Clearwater?
I
cadet orgs?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You learned that. And I was going to say, because
Sure.
At some point you were something having to do with the German reporters, and the German reporters were a huge thing at the INT Ranch. The kids knew all about the report. It's the Germans. We would literally say, the Germans, we have to go. We would literally be running. We were drilled. We were trained and drilled, training drills, literally to, they called them intruder, fire drill, blah, blah, blah. But when the German reporters came, they would say, the Germans are here, intruder drill. We would treat the Germans like an intruder. And so we would literally go run and hide in the nearest spot inside where we couldn't be filmed or seen. That was the training drill, and hide and no talk, no sound, be absolutely quiet.
Good Lord.
So
Scientology's own duck and cover.
They flew over multiple times, though. They tried multiple times to get any footage. And I'm telling you, Mark, I was the kid digging the fucking trenches with Duncan Alsop, Anthony Bolstad, Darren Bolstad. I can name all the cadets. Gayla Gualteri, Vanessa Delderfield, Christina Webster, and Gwendol. And we were all digging trenches. And I have this really loud whistle. Renee Berther went off. She left to go spank somebody or bring somebody to go to the bathroom or something like that. And so all the cadets were sitting there, and one of the older cadets was put in charge of us. And all of a sudden we hear, and we hear it. That humming noise means that's either a plane coming up over those mountains, because we're in a valley, we're in the canyon. So you can hear a noise far away, which also makes me understand that the Indian reservations would always be calling or call. There was plenty of calls like, hey, is everything okay over there? We hear some pretty foul screaming, like, and it would be like a kid arguing with one of the adults, or they were being forced to do something they didn't want to be doing. And I'm telling you, when we had tantrums, they were adult tantrums. Because we were trying to get through to an adult that was abusing us. And that's how we felt as kids. Like, you are fucking hurting me. Stop. Like, so we were vicious. But anyway, so back to happy thoughts. The German reporters came over, and we didn't know what to do. We weren't ordered. We weren't told. We didn't have okay to go and do the intruder drill. We had to get ordered to do it. So we were like, well, we don't know who they are. Just keep going. And so we were digging trenches. They flew off, and my little rebellion ass whistled like really loud. I whistled really loud, and I started waving to the German reporters, and they came back, and Renee Bertha came over, get inside. And you heard the security horns, but they did a whole horn thing. And then, so the German reporters, that's what they were trying to get, is kids actually physically working with all kinds of tools, doing jobs that literally a tractor that was sitting not even 50 feet away could have been doing for us in 5 minutes. But they wanted us to do the gruesome, hard, heavy work and learn lessons.
Yeah. Even getting a shot of you waving at them would have been something good for them.
I'm wondering, so I was going to ask again, if I could get in touch with that German reporter who filmed that and was there, that would be really, 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 really cool.
Yeah, I'll send you his email address. I only met him that one day when he was in Clearwater, and I went with him as he was trying to get an interview over at this Scientology artist's home. Cool. And that's when the guy came out with a hammer and tried to chase us away. But that's the only real interaction I had with him. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
They asked me to come along just so I could shoot some footage of them going to the door and knocking, just in case there was trouble. And then there was trouble. And the guy came after me with a hammer, hit my camera a couple of times.
Did you file like a battery or any of that, or were you just not?
Well, it's a long story. I won't go into it, but I've talked about it on my channel. You can find the whole gruesome story.
Okay.
Essentially, the police weren't really interested in a guy coming after me with a hammer. They were more concerned that I was disturbing the neighborhood, and I had been working with that Bob Mitten guy down at the Lisa McPherson Trust. So I was the troublemaker.
Like, what cop gives a fuck who you're fucking working with? Like, what? It's so Scientology. It's so...
When the cops are making money on their off-duty hours for Scientology, you know, and they're being fed all these stories about how dangerous we are and what criminals we are, there was a bias that developed from it, and it took 3 officers before anyone actually looked at the videotape of the incident, and even then, the police did not go over and ask for an ID from the hammer guy, even though first thing they did was ask for an ID from me and from the 2 German filmmakers. They got our IDs, but him, and the guy gave him a fake name and a fake birth date and a fake social security number.
Which was probably given to him by somebody in OSA.
Yeah. And then there was a newscast that night where they showed the video on a local station. And at the end, the anchor said, and Scientology says they have no idea who this guy was. And we looked him up in one of the Scientology magazines, and there he was completing courses. So I called the police and said, well, here, you might want to consider this, that they're lying to you. And they did go back then the next day and ask for his ID. And he had been wanted on a drug trafficking charge in Key West. And he got arrested over that and was shipped down there and spent a year in jail from that. But let's not bother asking him for his ID when Bunker's here. He's the troublemaker.
Yeah.
That's the insanity of it all.
Yeah. And that is Scientology. They will, like, it's so weird because people go, well, like, why did your mom get into it? Why did your dad? And I'm like, they were good people. They got, like, y'all don't understand what programming is, what hypnotic MK Ultra uses are doing to adults, let alone children who have undeveloped brains. Like, what do you mean? How did we get into this? We watched our mother and father bring us into it.